Dear world, this is what's currently happening in Myanmar. Our democratically elected leaders, including State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi, President Win Myint along with senior government officials, and the elected members of parliament have been detained by the military since 1st February 2021. On the 6th of February 2021, the first large-scale protests were organized in Myanmar. The protests have largely been leaderless and organized naturally by individuals. During the protests, peaceful protesters are being harmed by the military using excessive force and different kinds of weapons, such as tear gas, rubber bullets, water cannon trucks, and even real bullets. Many were injured and the majority are in critical condition. Unfortunately, a 19-year-old girl was shot in the back of the head with a rear bullet, which is not allowed to be used during riot control. She died at a hospital due to the head injury, but the junta has denied that any live ammunition was used in the crackdown on that day. This unlawful incident occurred when she was hiding behind a bus stop in fear of the water cannon coming her way. Another horrific incident had happened to a 15-year-old disabled young man who was beaten brutally by many soldiers while he was saying, "Please leave me alone." The junta has imposed a curfew and banned gatherings of more than 5 people in the country after the large-scale protests. The military regime released 23,000 criminals from prisons in order to create chaos and make space for political prisoners in the jails. At the same time, armed policemen are arresting innocent people who show their support to Civil Disobedience Movement during the night. Hundreds of doctors, lawyers, students, and parliament members are being taken away day and night. Our people's lives are not safe anymore. Citizens have set up their own neighborhood watch teams to safeguard their community. Myanmar junta also forces spotted shooting into residents and non-protesters to discourage filming or live broadcasts of their violence. Live media broadcasts have been restricted and we lost contact with our families, friends, and relatives back home due to the internet shutdown. Social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter are banned to cover up what's really happening in Myanmar. Myanmar junta has used the pandemic to gain and justify its power grab and arrested our leaders Aung San Suu Kyi and President Win Myint with the accused of breaking COVID-19 rules during the election campaign. The junta's intention in post-coup is to use anti-COVID measures to empower the military in preventing public gatherings and protests. Despite night arrests and the risk of police crackdown on protesters, protests continue in Myanmar and hundreds of thousands of people are turning out on the street to show the unity. Protesters are demanding to release Aung San Suu Kyi and all the leaders detained by the military coup and return to democracy. However, Myanmar military has shown no willingness to grant their request, despite 2 weeks of mass demonstrations. New cyber security laws have been drafted with tacit support from authoritarian countries to access user data and block online sites. The new laws would enable the military regime to instruct a user account be intercepted, blocked, or removed when identified to instigate hate speech or disrupt peace with false information or comments that violated existing laws. Local authorities would also have access to the data when requested without the need for a warrant. Myanmar is now under imminent threat of isolation from the world. The people of Myanmar value the same democratic values that people in Australia, New Zealand, United States, and other countries that value individual human rights and freedom. That is why we urge the international community support to stand with Myanmar people and our CDM. Let's stop the crimes against the people of Myanmar together.
Bye.